the Niftorious NFT Accelerator. So I'd like to thank you in advance for listening. And when their art comes available, please, just like on Jeff's Place on Thursdays when we have artists who are musicians, I encourage you to tip and to buy their music. I will encourage you to find out more about these art collections and support the artists as you can. And I would like to bring on our very first guest of the show, Roger, who is I guess I could say a co-founder of Niftorious. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Jeff, for inviting me. Looking forward to talking to you and looking forward to seeing all the amazing art today, actually.
So what brought you into, and what was the inspiration behind doing an accelerator for NFT artists?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna really briefly. I have a background in technology consulting, technology strategy, developer relations. So I like to say my head's in tech, but my heart is definitely with artists. I grew up with artists as parents, and I saw the starving artist phenomenon up close and personal, particularly with my father. So when I saw NFTs, it was just this amazing marriage of, my head and my technology and my heart sitting with artists. So super excited about it. And so with there's four co-founders of us, we sat together and we looked at the NFT market and we said, hey, you know what? There's an awful lot of tools for an NFT space for collectors or NFT traders or degens, as the industry likes to talk about, but not really enough for artists. I know this is pretty surprising to us because when we look at the NFT space, we go, there's just such an amazing, amazing opportunity for artists. Probably the biggest things that can be changed with NFTs is artists and their ability to, make a living off their art. I look at some stats and the starving artist is still alive and well. There are 10% of artist school graduates actually make a living off their art. So wow. Different and new ways to monetize art is definitely something that's super attractive. And I think NFTs offer that.
What have you learned running the first accelerator? What's some of the takeaways on your side? I know what the students are because I happen to be one of the students in the class, but I'm curious, as a teacher, as a co-founder, what have you learned so far from running it?
Well, one, it's been super gratifying because we see how excited people, there's nothing better than sharing some knowledge or finding an expert in the field and sharing it with people. And then you see their faces light up and get excited. So, the hunger is definitely really obvious there. And then I am excited about the creativity, right? I look at NFTs and I think we're still so early, right? And albeit how hot they are, there's so many undiscovered things that have yet to be done with NFTs. And so it's been super exciting to talk to the artists and see, and they have some really, really cool ideas around what to do with NFTs. And I think are going to bring some real innovation. So I know you're going to get a little taste of that today. Cool stuff coming.
You have a demo day coming up, don't you?
We do. Yeah. So the way we did the I'll back up a little bit. The way we modeled the Niftorious Artist Accelerator is around tech startup accelerators, right? So they went through, there was about an 8-week session. We had educational classes, there was collaboration, partnership, one-on-one mentoring, but all of that culminates in next Thursday, at 12 noon Eastern. We're going to have 14 artists get up on stage, and they're going to be talking about their art and their NFT and what they all want to do. So really, really a cool opportunity to check out all these new artists. And as I like to say, hey, man, one of them, maybe it's the next Beeple. So wouldn't you like to get into Beeple early or seeing Beeple early in his career? So I think it's excited about it. And that is, once again, next Thursday at 12 noon Eastern. I'll put a link to sign up in the chat. So,
and for people who may be watching us live or on the replay who are interested in joining an NFT accelerator in the future, are you going to have another class? Do you have plans to continue this?
We do indeed. So that first class is culminating, like I said, in that demo day next Thursday, but we are accepting applications right now for the second class that will start in May. If you go to niftorian.com and you just click on Accelerator, you can learn all about it. You can apply. You can also, there's an opportunity to join our Discord, to ask us questions, connect with us on social media. So, you know, if you're an artist or you know an artist or you're a creator, because it's not all artists, some people are creators who want to get into this, love to have you, love to answer some questions. Please apply. And if it all works out on both sides, love to talk to you in May on the second accelerator class.
So before you go, I just want to distinguish, how do you just for definition purposes, in your mind, what is the difference between a creator and an artist?
Well, that's a good question, Jeff, and I'm not sure I can answer that. So, you know, in a sense, maybe everyone's an artist, but I think when we think traditionally of artists, right, we think of a particular medium that they're creating in, right, whether they're painting or sculpture or digital art or film or photography, etc.
Right.
I think when I talk about a creator, there's certainly artistic talent there, but sometimes creators are so you'll see in the NFT space, sometimes I think the art is pretty simple, but what the art represents is this community that you can get into, or all these other benefits behind it, the utility that we like to talk about. So it's kind of a token to signify your membership in a club. So I would call those maybe more creators. They're creating something, albeit maybe the art isn't the first focus, albeit there is art involved. That's my best explanation. I think that's a good question to ponder.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot as much as I'm just curious, because I use those words interchangeably. I call this the creator economy show. And, you know, I'm here to help connect, help encourage creativity and really bring creators together. And, you know, I'm not a big person about labels. I mean, I don't believe in labeling so much. And so, because I think that we all can be anything. We are all creative. We have creativity. We may all have an innate creativity. Sometimes it's you know, we go to school and we learn more and we are encouraged. And then it just, for me, it's because as a software developer, I created code at a very young age. And I've been a photographer since I'm 4 years old. So I look at taking pictures, if you will, to create, but also if you're an inventor, you're a creator. So there's all sorts of stuff. And of course, in the 2022 vocabulary of the internet, particularly Web3, when we talk about utility and creating value for NFTs and associating them with access, I found myself down that path myself, because I have a series of conferences where I wanted to encourage people to buy my art, and then tagged on the ability that if you have my art, you will now have access to perhaps proprietary content in the future, but certainly access to an event that I'm hosting. And I find that opens up so many other paths. And one is not necessarily directly connected to the other, but it's a learning, you know, and it's an education. And here's the thing, right? If we are here as students of the future, we're all learning this together. And that and the fact that we're here together to learn is really the most inspiring part for me. So I thank you for having the courage to put together the first ever accelerator for NFT artists. And I thank you for your work and for your co-founders' work, because it's really incredible to see how you're able to gather people from all over the world. And today we have artists literally from 4 different places on Earth, and very grateful for the opportunity to host some of the students right now. So we'll be back with you in a few moments. And Harry or Lauren, if you could please bring forward Renata, that would be great. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today. Where are you connecting from?
I'm coming to you from Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. We have I think Lauren and I, we have 21 cousins in Toronto at the moment. So we have part of our extended families in Canada, particularly Toronto. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name of your brand, and what inspired you to become an artist, to be an NFT artist?
Okay, my name, my brand's name is Electronic Canvas. I've been painting on electronic canvas since 2010. Prior to that, I painted on various surfaces tar paper, chalk on tar paper, ink on paper. Then when I discovered the fact that I could draw on the surface of an iPad, I completely fell in love with the medium.
Yes.
And I haven't looked back.
And do you, and what is the is there any one compelling piece? For me on the iPad, it's the pen connected with the ability. It creates a different experience. And I imagine you're just run right into that too, literally, no pun intended.
I am, and actually I'm going to be showing animations and talking about my animations today, which is something that the iPad has enabled me to do with my still works. I'm going to begin by showing you a 35-second demo reel. I've dropped a link into the chat for a Vimeo link. I'm hoping that people can see it.
Yeah, we could see the link, yes. And if you like, you want to take the full screen and demo, you want to show the video on your own?
Sure.
You should be able to
I need to share my screen.
You should be able to screen. I think you should now be able to.
Okay. Will the sound go though?
You have to share computer sound too. Did you share sound?
Nope.
It's one of the choices when you go into share screen, Renata. It says more. It's like when you have that screen in front of you and there's 3 dots and it's by the more. If you pull that down, it should say share sound from the computer.
Yes, Lauren?
No, I was just going to see, are you trying to share the link that we have here?
Yeah, but I'm going to go straight to my, for the interest of time, I'm going to go straight to my PowerPoint.
Okay. Well, we see your screen right now.
And later on, people could possibly watch the, watch what's on Vimeo.
Well, we see your desktop at the moment.
Okay. All right.
So go ahead. The stage is yours.
Okay. My project is called Marlin Spike. It is a series of animations based on the character of the Commedia dell'arte figure Marina Svenskaya-Shevska and her Northern European relatives. She is a blue stocking who lives in her ancestral home, Marlin Spike. Don't be fooled by her innocent look. She is a badass. I make these works because I like to touch people with an image and get them to feel an emotional connection to it, and thus to their essential humanity. Each one of my works is born out of a specific feeling, and it is the emotion that is my starting point. Each animated work is a one of one, so first come, first served. My NFTs are minted on Foundation app, and there will be at least 50 and at most 100 dropped over the next year, starting at the price of half an ETH. All the music in these works is my own, and the animations average 45 seconds in length. For my collectors, there will be pleasant surprises down the line. The collection may end at the total of 100, but I assure you, my relationship with my collectors will survive past then. I would like to have you know me better, and I would like the relationship to continue. In these works, I aim to strike a balance between beauty and the ineffable. In the blink of an eye, light and color generate spaces that are gigantic or minuscule, while liberated forms create, destroy, then recreate their own visual ecologies. They tempt us as objects of beauty, but are engineered for the disruption of that very stasis that is foundational to contemplation. No sooner are they something, a collapsing tunnel, a burgeoning cumulus vapor, a wall of precisely hinged planes, than they are seen to be something else. Because they are perpetually becoming, they create not merely fascinating illusions, but enchantment. You can be amused by owning this art. Be entertained. Watch art that never needs recharging while you yourself are recharged. Carry around your own art gallery on your mobile devices, or show them in beautiful 4K resolution with stereo sound on your flat screen or monitor. They look great in both formats. Either way, you will be rewarded by the wealth of color, detail, and highly imaginative imagery. I'm Renata Janiszewska, and I'm a fine artist. I've been thoroughly in love with painting digitally for over 10 years. I am hoping to find collectors for my art and to make these artist-patron relationships as rich and rewarding as viewing a beautiful work of art. Thank you for your attention, and you can find my animations on Foundation at Renata Gigi. That's Renata, J-I-J-I, on the Foundation platform. And I've left my Twitter address there for you if you would like to see more of my work. And I would also encourage you to please look at my 35-second demo reel that I dropped the link to Vimeo on.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Wow, wow, wow. Before I go to the next artist, Renata, I'm just curious, from your perspective, how have you thought of how doing NFT art might have been different than some of the other art you've been painting digitally for 10 years? Like what are you looking to do?
Well,
like I'm just curious.
Sure. You asked me that at the beginning, Jeff, and I didn't answer you. So because animations have sound, they're more, I would say, a crossover art form. So when I do my fine art, I do still images. People buy them to put on the wall or put on their screen.
Yes.
But an animation is something that has life, and it's a time-based work of art. And I really think NFTs lend themselves to that format. And I think that we'll see a lot of other even more elaborate versions of that down the line as the technology grows and as the NFT world expands.
Well, your art is quite beautiful. My other sister, Michelle, is a fine artist as well. And I appreciate the magic of what you do and what you bring to this world. So thank you so much for being here. And I wish you much success, not only in a demo day, but really for people to support your work, to support your collection, and look forward to hearing more about your future collections. I'd like to bring forward our next guest, if we could, Eloise, who's joining us from Mauritius, if I'm not mistaken, which blows me away because as a ham radio operator, I was just digitally connecting to Mauritius earlier today. How are you doing? How are things with you?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks very much. And thanks very much for having me today.
Oh, it's truly an honor. Could you share a little bit about yourself, about the work, the art that you're doing and the NFT collection you're working on?
Absolutely. Well, I've been doing NFTs for about 18 months now. I was invited to participate in an NFT exhibition in Portland, in fact, early last year, and it was like a light bulb moment for me because I'm historically a fine art photographer. And when I was invited to do this presentation or invited to do this exhibition, I was like, well, what better format is there for photography than to have it as an NFT? So I fell in love with it, obviously, immediately. I still do photography, but I find I'm doing more and more NFT work. I have collections on OpenSea and Foundation and Known Origin. But through the accelerator, I am focusing on a PFP project. All my other work is one-of-ones, and they all involve my photography. Even my digitally drawn artworks have my photographs as their background or as their influence in terms of color or composition. The sea is very important to me. I'm all about coral regeneration and the ocean economy. So all my NFTs and all my photographic portfolios center around the ocean. So this character is my project I've developed through the Niftorian project. Her name is Pearly Shirley, and she is there to help save the coral reefs. She was born out of the coral to fight for the ocean's homeless. Coral reefs are in mortal danger due to overfishing, pollution, and climate change, and we can reverse this by planting live coral on dead reefs. Coral reefs are very important because they feed 500 million people. They provide income and protection to people, to humans. They provide shelter to a quarter of all known marine species. They act as a nursery ground, and they protect beaches, cities, and communities from the impact of storms, erosion, and flooding. So with that in mind, I created this collection to raise funds for coral regeneration.
Wow.
So my collection is split into two categories. 9,700 artworks are generative, but each one is hand-drawn. So all the elements, like you see in this Pearly Shirley here, the trident, the shell, the pearls, the coral, the tattoos on her face, those are all hand-drawn and then generated to create 9,700 different ones. And my second category is a collection of 300 Pearly Shirleys, completely individually hand-drawn, and each one will have their own distinct characteristics. But what sets this collection apart is that the backgrounds of every NFT is one of my seascape photographs. So when you purchase this NFT, you also get a fine art print. And that's very important to me because I want you to still appreciate the beauty of the sea. I want you to put that fine art print on your wall.
That's beautiful. Wow. Have you thought about what the pricing of your collection is going to be?
I have. I think the generative collection, which is actually called Starfish, those are going to be priced at 0.1 ETH. And then the 300 individuals, that collection is called Seals, and those are going to be priced at 2 ETH. There's a lot of utility involved with, especially with the 2 ETH one. I'm actually in negotiations at the moment with a luxury hotel group in Mauritius. And if you own one of the 2 ETH ones, you may be able to come on holiday in Mauritius at a really, really good price.
Would you consider showcasing some of your favorite sunrise and sunset spots around Mauritius for someone who buys one of those 2 ETH NFTs?
I absolutely would. I absolutely would. We'll do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and cocktails.
Well, it's just thinking that, you know, because if you go where your passion is and you're connecting and you're sharing, then why not? And, you know, Mauritius is not next door for me on the East Coast of the US, but it is absolutely a beautiful place to visit and to be, clearly. And just curious, how long have you been have you been an artist your entire life, or is it something that you've gone into in recent times?
Well, I've been a photographer since I was about 9. I got my first Kodak Electra, and then fell in love with photography. So, but when I left school and graduated, I actually had got my honors in financial planning. So for the first 20 years of my life, or 20 years of my working career, I suppose, I was in the financial services industry. And then 15 years ago, I decided to become a full-time photographer. So I'd always done photography, but it was then on a part-time basis. And yeah, so for 15 years, I've been a full-time professional photographer.
Wow. Well, if you could, please make sure that in the links in the chat here, you put links to your collections so people can see them, so that others can support the work that you're doing. And I thank you for the work you're doing to create more awareness for coral reefs and for for making the world a better place. I'm grateful for the work that you're doing, and thank you for having the courage to come and present and to be present today. Thank you. Wow, it's yeah, and you.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm going to bring on our next guest, Linton. Please welcome Linton to the stage. Good evening to you. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and you, Jeff?
And could you share where you're connecting from?
South Africa.
You're in South. Well, so we went from Mauritius. Now we're in South Africa. Okay. I guess we're entering spring, so you're entering autumn now.
Yeah, autumn.
Wow. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the work, your art that you're working on?
Okay, so about myself, basically I'm a 3D animator. I've been doing it for about 10 years, I think. I fell in love with art at a somewhat early age, and fell in love with 3D animation in about just 2 years before I finished high school. And just decided I kind of like found out about it and almost made a decision there on the spot that that's going to be my career, because a friend of mine decided to suggest, hey, dude, we're playing games. Wouldn't it be nice to actually like, what's the word, do this for a living? I'm like, whoa, people do that? He's like, yeah. And then it's just roller coaster after that.
Amazing! Wow. Inside the accelerator, what particular project are you looking at launching during or after being a student in the accelerator?
It's going to be after, because there's quite a few milestones I'd like to hit in terms of community and just basically building out sort of like, mostly the community and the following behind the project, since it is a generative project.
What is the inspiration behind the generative project?
So the inspiration behind the generative project is because I'm new. Can I still say new father? I guess 2 years. Yeah, I guess I'll end it off when he's actually fully 2. I'll come full on father. So basically, what happened was I've always had the dream of creating animations that my son sort of grows up, or daughter grows up watching. I've got a son. And with that sort of came a situation where I was watching some stuff on YouTube and I'm like, I could do something like that, possibly uniquely. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's try it, and bet. And I went and I started like creating these animations for them. You can check the YouTube channel out. I think I should plug that.
Share the YouTube channel.
Cool. So the YouTube channel is here. If you guys are keen to see that. So the project sort of escalated from there, and then I discovered NFTs. I was in crypto. I've been in crypto for about 2 years now, since like late 2020. And the bull run sort of like was in full swing. And basically, I love what crypto sort of brings and how much it's going to disrupt stuff. And I feel like I was a bit slow to getting into NFTs properly and understanding, getting my head around, even though I am an artist. Is like, I think artists sort of like have a weird thing where they kind of, that's a rant that doesn't matter for today. Anyway, so I took long to get in, and and I decided that I'm gonna create a sort of a PFP project centered around the animations I've created, which the main goal of the actual PFP project is to create a short film about self-acceptance, which is basically, I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek in terms of the story. It's very rough. Nothing's really planned out, but it's basically ollies that have all sorts of traits that sort of each sort of ollies, maybe the striped or the stripes sort of band together, spots band together, and you have this one ollie that has a bit of everyone's, and he kind of doesn't know where to place himself, and he feels like an outcast. And then throughout the whole journey, he finds himself and realizes that he can actually relate with a lot of people, and he sort of brings people together and more mingling and basically accepting himself and being sort of the homing beacon towards like accepting yourself and the differences that you might have to celebrate yourself and other people. So that's basically one of the PFPs is here, but that's still a tester. That might not actually come out, but that's what it'll possibly look like. I'm still in the testing phases of stuff. So I think something that's worth mentioning also is I do have two selections that have been done for short film I made previously. So I do have a bit of experience on that end. Yeah, I'd say the main thing. Yeah, and that's that. Oh yes, and then the nice thing about the utility that I have in mind is that is actually once the short is finished, besides entering it into a whole lot of film festivals, is also airdropping it to the holders, and they get sort of like black bragging rights to sort of possibly owning a short that could possibly win awards and be selected for like a lot of film festivals around the world.
That's amazing. I thank you for the work that you're doing, and I look forward to seeing the completed project. And what is the best way for people to keep track of and support the work that you're doing now?
It would be one of two ways. To keep track would be Twitter. I've posted it here, and then on the Twitter you'll find a link tree, which will sort of give you a Discord, and that's when you can sort of chat with me, ask a few more questions if you need to, and basically just vibe out with the community, that sort of thing.
Well, I'll find you on Twitter because I didn't before, and I regret that I didn't, but I will do that now. And
Yeah.
I love your art, and
Thanks.
I wish you nothing but success with what you're working on and what you will be creating, and creating really legacy for your family and for everyone else's kids and everyone else who enjoys animation. So, thank you for that. And please hang on. I want to ask our next guest, next artist to join us. Please bring Colin forward. Colin, a good day to you. Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from the Green Mountain National Forest in Vermont.
Green Mountain National Forest, a fun place to be. I guess it's not mud season yet, but
Getting there.
Getting there, yes. And could you tell me about tech expressionism or tech expression, however it's meant? I was having a hard time pronouncing it.
Absolutely. So yeah, Techspressionism is a term that I came up with about 10 years ago as a title for a solo show that I did. And it's sort of grown over the pandemic into an online artist community. And we have about, I would say 270 or so artists from about 40 different countries involved now. And we're putting together our first major sort of physical exhibition that's going to open up at Southampton Arts Center next month in Southampton, New York.
Wow. And is that going to be at the end of April? We have friends in East Hampton who are artists. What do you have the dates for when that's going to be?
Yeah, the show is going to open up April 21st, but the opening reception is going to be the 23rd, which is a Saturday, and that's from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's at the Southampton Arts Center, which is at 25 Jobs Lane. That's right in the middle of Southampton Village. So it actually used to be the Parish Art Museum building, and then that museum moved a little bit east. So it's a beautiful space.
Do you have by any chance a link to that link to your show? So Laura and Harry, take note. We should probably go visit.
Absolutely. Let me just paste it in there. So yeah, this is some preliminary information, and I know the Arts Center is going to be doing a press release pretty soon. So.
Well, so for how many years have you been presenting in galleries or in shows like this?
I've been working. I studied art as an undergrad. I was a painting student at SUNY Binghamton, so I ended up moving to New York City in 1994. So my first job was actually in development. I was building CD-ROMs, and ended up, having the opportunity to build some of the first, consumer-facing sites. So that, work in agencies helped me basically support my studio practice, which was kind of running in parallel to my commercial work.
Wow. And at the Niftorious Accelerator, what project, or is that what you're exhibiting? Is that what's going to be, was that your current project in the accelerator, or is it a different body of work?
It's actually a project that it's an outgrowth of my first couple of NFTs that I minted, which I called metagraphs. And they were actually based on these abstract digital drawings I did back from when I was living in the city from maybe 99 to 2004. And I took them and started to animate them and add audio. And actually, I'll share my screen, and I figure, I'll show a couple of these short pieces. They're each 23 seconds, and I believe the series is going to be limited to 23 pieces. And that's a significant number for me because it's my birth date and also the birth date of our daughter, who's 7. So she was born on June 23rd, and I was born on December 23rd. So let me just share my screen here.
Should be, yeah, there you go.
Okay. So I've been minting all of my work on Foundation, and the first 5 pieces in this series were created before Foundation offered collections, and all of them have sold except for the very last one, which I moved into a collection for Texpressionism. But this is my first one, and there's audio as well.
Local train. The next stop is 23rd Street.
So that one is called Urbanite, and then they're pretty short. This one here actually was my first one that I sold in the secondary market, and this was included in a show called NFT Now, which was on the Texpressionism site, and it was curated by a woman named Ann Spalter, who taught the very first digital courses at Brown and Rhode Island School of Design. She's been involved in the Texpressionism project.
Discovery Houston, recommend vector transfer.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
And that one used some samples from NASA. All the samples are either free or licensed. And some of the work actually includes audio that I recorded myself. This has some audio that I recorded from up here in Vermont, where we recently moved from Long Island. And I'll just give you a quick peek at the first piece that I'm going to mint in the actual collection, which I'm going to mint tomorrow at 12:23, keeping the 23 going. So this is the still image, and actually the drawings they look like this. This is like basically what the still images look like. And at some point I'm probably going to mint out the drawings as editions as well. But I launched a site, a little micro site yesterday. I'll paste the link in the chat just for this collection. It's metagraphnft.com, and it explains a little bit about what the work is about and the background. And then there's going to be sort of like a countdown each month to the next drop. And so this is the piece that's going to drop tomorrow.
Wow. Amazing. Beautiful. And I was also quite impressed that you actually got the subway announcement where you can actually it's audible. I remember being on those trains when it was like all garbled. So congratulations on getting non-garbled audio. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And it was the 23rd Street stop too.
Of course. Wow. Oh my, wow. It's an honor to meet some of the artists today. I have to say, Roger, you guys did a great work in curating amazing artists doing bleeding edge works, and please bring everyone back on. Bring on everyone, please, just to complete the roundtable here. So, what do you guys think? Do you have questions for each other? I'm quite impressed. I have to say, this is magical to me to be here, to listen, to watch, and to see. Guys, you don't always have a chance to talk to each other. please feel free to drop in and say something.
Well, I was going to, first of all, Jeff, thanks for having us. And although I've seen all this art like over the past several weeks, it was so cool to see you guys presenting. So you got me pretty excited. So awesome job.
Yeah, I mean, it was truly amazing. I want to extend an invitation. I have a conference I'm doing at the end of April. It's Spring Von 3, and on the first day is focusing on Web 3 and really going from Web 2 to Web 3, and with an emphasis on creators. And I'm ending the second to last session is going to be an NFT artist roundtable. And if any of you would like to participate as artists, it'll be very similar format. There, I only have a half hour, but it will be about whoever says yes as an artist to participate, it'll be whatever you guys decide to talk about, it will be what we talk about. But it's really to encourage, my purpose is to increase the number of artists in the world who share their work, as opposed to just do the work, and to embrace creativity. So if you're interested as an artist, if you're in this roundtable with us right now, or in the audience, if you'd like to participate in at Spring Von's NFT artist roundtable, drop me a note or put it in the chat, and we'll follow up. I am curating that event this week. It's not as sexy as being the Southampton Art Festival, I tell you that. It's just a short moment in time that will be recorded and seen around the world, but it's something which I'm in awe of each of your individual creativity and the way you express yourself, and how you can do NFT for causes, how you can do NFT for legacy, how you do NFT to make a difference and to be present. Wow. And by the way, if you're in the audience, if you're on YouTube, you're out of luck. You should have gotten a ticket for the Creator Economy. The show usually occurs on Tuesdays at 2:00 Eastern, 1800 GMT. I may be on hiatus for a few weeks. We'll have to see what happens, but we will be back. But if you're in the audience here, because you're not watching on YouTube live right now, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We'd be happy to do interactive Q&A. But before I go to the outer audience, do you guys have questions for each other or any comments? Really?
It's an honor.
Sorry, Linton.
No, it's fine, Eloise, you can go.
The Curly Shirley has just been unveiled on your show, Jeff, because nobody has seen her outside of my house.
Wow, I'm honored. Wow.
So there you go.
Thank you.
It feels like quite a momentous occasion. Yeah.
Wow. One day I do hope to visit Mauritius. I'll say that too. And my friends who've been to Mauritius sing its praises and how beautiful the sunrises and sunsets are. So, and thank you for sharing your art here. It's beautiful to see. Linton, you were saying something?
No, I was saying it's an honor to be sort of featured with such really talented artists with sort of like different sort of aspects to offer. I feel, what's the word, honored.
Well, it's just really, truly special. And I think we're at a very important time in the history of art, in the sense that art will be here before art was here before we were born, and will be here after when we leave. But the legacy of what we're leaving behind, I think, is actually kind of different, because I have a fundamental belief about digital breadcrumbs, that in the history of people on this planet, there was a time not long ago that the only people who were remembered were people that were famous or people that were infamous. Everyone else lived a life, hopefully remembered by family, but not necessarily had legacy. For the last 25 years, each and every one of you have been leaving behind breadcrumbs. Whether it was a random tweet, whether it was a photograph you posted on Flickr, perhaps it was a Facebook status update. And imagine genealogy 25 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, when a distant relative wants to recreate your life. It's more than just finding out they're related to you. They could actually see your body of work. If they wanted to deconstruct your life or reconstruct it in a digital way, they could actually see that, oh, they had a hard, imagine a relative of yours 72 years from now is having a hard day, and they see that their distant relatives also had hard days. They also, because it's, people wonder, why does it matter what I tweet about? Why does it matter why I share what I share? That's because we're all human. And the human experience outlasts all of us, right? And that we're a legacy to that. And to the extent that you're creating NFTs and digital expressions of art, I believe what you are creating is a digital legacy that will influence future generations of your families. You just don't know that yet. And that we're living in times where that can actually be seen, be felt, and be heard, and be remembered in ways that we never could before. So that while certain blockchains may not last forever, your art will, your energy will, and the magic that you bring forward will be too. So I congratulate each of you for being inspirational and for sharing and having the courage to be present, to listen, and to present your art and to contribute to the magic of this world. So I thank you for that. And I really do believe in digital breadcrumbs, and I really do believe that when we look to the future, when people look to the past, they'll discover magic that they never knew was there. And we just couldn't do that before. Before, it's like you do a 23andMe test, you can find out that you had relatives that grew up that were from Eastern Europe or from wherever, but that's it. But now your future cousins will see your stuff. They'll find you, and they'll be proud to know that they had relatives that did the work that you did. So thank you for that. Anyone else? Any questions? Any before I close the show, because it feels to be pretty magical to be here, to bring together folks from all over the world, from North America, from Africa, from the Indian Ocean. It's pretty cool. Silence.
It is. It is.
Well, Roger, I want to thank you for what you and Brett and really the co-founders of Niftorious have done, because
Jeff?
Yes?
There was one question.
Oh, I didn't see.
It's from David Cutler.
Oh, of course it'd be from David Cutler.
Okay, hold on.
What was it?
Okay, David.
Hi, David.
Hey, everybody. This is so inspiring and just letting it wash over me. I just thought I'd be very specific, and if each of the artists could say one thing that's on the top of their list of what they need, and don't be ashamed. We're here. This is a community of that people that care. And it could be money, it could be tech, it could be a hug, it could be a new car, it could be a fixed water heater, it could be better brushes, better iPad. Just tell us what you want, and we'll see if we can help you get it.
Wow. Okay. Why not? Thank you, David.
I'm ready to tell you what I want.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. As an artist, I would very much like to have patrons. And the other thing that I'd very much like to have is social media exposure.
Okay. Did you put your social media links into the chat?
I will do right now.
Okay. Please, we can follow you. We could certainly do that.
It's already happening.
Thank anyone else like to do?
I can say that my answer is exactly the same as Renata's. I need help being promoted, and I need patrons who love me and encourage what I do.
We can focus on a group manifestation of patrons. It is possible.
Without even having to build a DAO, we can still do it.
Absolutely. Yes.
On the way to the DAO.
On the way to the DAO. And that's the DAO, not the DOW.
Or the TAO.
Well, okay. Colin or Linton, anything that you guys are looking for?
Words at my mouth. I was gonna say a really good promoter that's gonna really help bring the project to the forefront. It's the thing that I think I struggle with the most. Yeah, it's even collaborations, honestly. Besides, just like collaborations, and I think a promoter, not just promotion. I think I need a solid promoter to get the projects really right up there.
And Colin, do you also need promotion, or are you okay with that?
Yeah, no, I would say definitely promotion. I mean, my sort of fantasy would be that I would have some form of representation to the degree that I could really just focus on making work. And I've found that I have to maintain my freelance practice, my client work to pay the overhead and support my family and stuff like that. And it's really hard to find balance, and I find that I'm almost sort of trying to work two jobs in order to satisfy my artistic self, and then also just sort of the realities of life. So, but I really appreciate the opportunity to participate in this, as well as the accelerator. It's really nice to see creative people supporting each other in this way.
Well, it's wonderful to see. And Roger, I'll just propose that we create, as an extension of the accelerator, we can create the NFT artist agency.
Perfect. Love it. Bring it.
You have to look for clients to sign up, and we help get them the buzz, the recognition, and the patrons they're looking for. I'm serious, by the way.
I that definitely warrants a discussion. We talked a lot about that. I mean, I think that's one of the challenges.
Well,
how do artists stand out? How do artists get a chance for people to discover their work and follow them and do all the amazing things? Because it's crowded, and I don't think the current NFT platforms do a great job of doing that. I think there's some that do a little better job doing that, but I think there's a lot of opportunities for artists to stand out and market and get more eyeballs in their work and more excitement over what they're doing.
Yeah,
so the world's an oyster here of opportunities.
No, it certainly is. So there's tactical and there's strategic stuff. Tactically, everybody will be seen next week for sure. And I would encourage, if you didn't know this, there's a demo day for the Niftorious NFT Accelerator. It's next Thursday. If you're watching this on replay, you may have missed going to that accelerator. But there's a website. Is there a website where people could find more about that, Roger?
It's a link for the Zoom webinar, and I'll just put it directly in the chat right now, actually.
Okay. So we'll be on Zoom.
Oops, sign up. Or you can just follow Niftorious on Twitter or anything like that, and we'll have more information there. Hang on.
And I do think, right, so I'll just ask the universe to help each of these artists, those here and those who couldn't make it, to be seen, to be heard, and for their art to be recognized, and for an opportunity for for more patrons to come forward, and most importantly, for people to be to be heard. And Roger, I'll follow up. I actually do think the time might be now to actually seriously look to create an NFT artist agency. Just if for no other reason, to follow through as a next step. You've been through the accelerator, and now perhaps where warranted, perhaps the agency would help. I have 500,000 Twitter followers. They're always are curious for content. I'm sure we could find some other people that could also amplify, because it's really about community at the end, right? It's about connecting those dots and providing the opportunities, and to follow, to retweet. I'll just put it out there. If you're an artist listening, or you're here today as a guest, if there's any work that you're doing that you want attention to, I'm more than happy to retweet you, and I don't charge for that. I only retweet projects that I like, and so I'm more than happy to support each and every one of you. And that's a promise that's not going to go. That's a greenfield opportunity. So just reach out to me, and I'll be helpful. And I want to thank Lauren and Harry for helping to host the show today, to produce, I should say, and for each of every one of you in the audience. If you are an artist and want to be or a creator, I don't want to get technical here, Roger, but if you're someone who likes to be part of the next iteration of Niftorious, please be certain to apply. And guys, I wish you much success at demo day next week, and please don't forget me. I'm happy to have you as guests in the future to talk about your future work and talk about progress and anything that we could do as a community to be supportive. I have a website. I'm using Circle for various communities that I've created over the years, and so there's a link in the chat, and it's right now free. Like everyone else, we also like to find patrons, but right now it is free to be part of our creator economy community, and these are people that are. And you're invited to participate. It's just a chance to have conversations in between shows, and to help interconnect and connect the dots between some people that I know. So feel free to join us. Anyway, we'll be back. I'm not sure when, but we'll be on a Tuesday, and we'll be at 2:00 Eastern. I have some personal things coming up, so I'm a little tied up, but I will be back. And guys, light and love to all of you. Thank you for all the work that you do. Thanks for joining us from Mauritius, from South Africa, from Toronto, and from the East Coast. And wow, and if you can get to Southampton, please do that. I think the Southampton Arts Center will be a wonderful place to visit in April, particularly for a certain show. Guys, thanks a lot. I'm going to close down the show. We'll hang out a little bit afterwards. Guys, Lauren and Harry, thank you so much for doing it.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
I think the NFT Artist Agency